Hey guys, this is Faden. So a few days ago, I was looking for alternative to the popular Kubernetes web UI dashboard. And the reason why I was looking for an alternative is because number one, Kubernetes dashboard requires to be running or to be installed on Kubernetes itself. And obviously this is a resource consumption. And number two, sometimes your development teammates might not have the right access or credentials to access the namespace where the Kubernetes dashboard pod is running. So I was looking for alternative and I found Octant Dashboard by Vmware, which is an open source dashboard by the Vmware team. And I'm going to talk about some of the features as well as I'll show you how the dashboard looks like. But first, let me talk about the installation. So as you can see here, this is the Octant GitHub repo. If I scroll down here, the installation of Octant Dashboard is actually on your own machine. And this is actually pretty awesome because you don't need to run it on Kubernetes cluster. The dashboard is going to be connected via the kube-config file. So for example, if you have a development team with a limited access to some specific namespaces, then obviously these developers can actually install the Octant on their own machine and then still be able to visualize the resources within their authentication scope. Okay, so this is a really nice, and I'm gonna show you now how the dashboard looks like. So this is basically my Octant dashboard running locally on my machine. And as you can see here that right now I have 2 pods in the default namespace. My cluster is running on AWS. What I really like about the Octant dashboard is the slick UI, as well as the ability to port forward the pods from within the UI. So let me just show you how this can be done. So for example, if I go to the Nginx pod running on my default namespace, you can see the topology of all the resources connected to your pod. And then if I click on the Nginx pod and then I'm going to click on the Nginx link here, you can see that there is an ability to, or an option to start the port forwarding. So if I click on that, automatically a random port being generated on my local host. So if I open it right away, simple as that. So I think this dashboard is not a replacement of the actual Kubernetes dashboard. It's meant for developers and for development productivity. It helps developers to visualize the resources from within the cluster or within their own namespaces. So let me just go to the overview section here for the workload so you can see a nice style of how the workloads are demonstrated with all the labels as well. And also if I go to the, for example, the deployment section here, you can see that I have one deployment called app. And there is also something very interesting and something I really like very much within this dashboard, which is the port forward section here. So the port forward section shows you the opened port forwards for your pods. This is something nice. I don't really need to keep my terminal open and make sure that the ports or the port forward is working. So everything can be done from within the UI, as well as, of course, the ability to edit and to modify your deployment YAMLs and your resources. So let me just try to make an example. Now, right now we have 1 pod running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the deployment replica to 2 instead of 1. So I'm going to go to the YAML tab over here, and then let me try to look for the replica. So you can see the replicas here is set to 1, so I'm going to change that to 2. And then let me try to move my video here, and then I'm going to click update. So you can see that there is a message called updated deployment. So if I go back to the application tab, you can see that I have 2 pods running now for my app. Okay. And there is also something really nice about this dashboard, which is the instant update or refresh within the UI. And what I mean by that is, let me just go back again to the application section, and let me go to my terminal. So for example, if I do create, if I actually do krun new nginx, just to run a new pod in my default namespace, I'm just gonna say image nginx, and port, I'm gonna say 80, and then namespace, I'll just use the default namespace. So as soon as the pod is deployed to the default namespace, automatically you will see the workload section or the application section refreshed. And now you can see that this is the new nginx pod up and running. And also you can see all the resources mapped to this pod. So yeah, this is a very interesting dashboard. I really like it. I really like the fact that you can just install it on your own machine and connect to your cluster via the kubeconfigs. You can also switch between all the kubeconfigs. I don't want to click on that because you will see all my clusters and cluster names as well. So if I also go to the cluster overview, you can see all the namespaces, you can see the CRDs as well as the custom resources, and also the nodes for the cluster, and also an overview of all the storage and the PV and PVCs that you have. Obviously, I don't have anything, I don't have any PVs created in my cluster, but you would actually definitely see that if you have some. And also something else, which is the plugin section. So you can actually go to this link and then install some of the plugins available for Octant Dashboard. So for example, if you want to visualize and see your Helm releases, you can actually do that by installing the Octant plugin for Helm. This is very nice. And I really like the fact that you can actually extend the functionality. So you can also see that there is an Octant plugin for Knative as well. Okay, so anyway, I hope this video was useful for you guys, and thank you so much for watching.